Hello members of Tambuwal math class. In this tutorial we are going to learn how to find the nth derivative of a function. But before we start, it is very important to know what a successive differentiation is. A successive differentiation is the process of repeatedly differentiating a function with respect to a given variable. So you can differentiate a function one time, which is the first derivative, two times, which is the second derivative, three times, third derivative, in that order. You can even differentiate it up to 1000 times. So what if the question is asking you to find the 100th derivative of that function? Will you be differentiating the function 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 100? No. This is where nth derivative is very important. You can use this to derive a connection that can lead you up to that 100th derivative without necessarily going through the first, second, third, and so on derivatives. So in this tutorial, we are going to focus on these four problems, though I'm only going to treat the first two. In my next video, expect the second two. So let's get started. We have our first function here, which is y equal to e to the ax. Let me write it down. Y equal to e to the ax. Now let us see the connection between the first, second, and third derivative. So what if I differentiate it for the first time? Remember, the derivative of e to any function is the derivative of its exponent multiplied by the entire function. So what is the derivative of ax? Remember, a here is constant. Only x is considered to be our variable in respect to our derivative. So if you differentiate this, you're going to get what? Only a, and that a will have to multiply the entire function e to the ax. So this is our first derivative. Now, what about the second one? If you differentiate it for the second time, this is going to be the derivative of this, which is a, will multiply everything. That a times a will give us a squared. We have a squared here, but the function repeats. Something like this. Let's go to the third one. The third derivative is equal to the derivative of this is a times a squared is a cubed e to the ax. Just observe that the exponent and e are not changing. Look at it. E to the ax, e to a. All of these are e to the ax. But the coefficient here, this is to the first power, second power, third power. And you can see this is to the first power while we are at the first derivative. This is to the second power while we are in the second derivative. This is to the third power when we are at third derivative, which implies that the power of a depends on the number of derivatives. So if you go down, down, down up to the nth derivative, right? We don't know which exactly is n. It could be 100 derivative or 1000. Just a representation will be what? A to the power of n, because this 3, this 2, this 1 are equivalent to the number of derivatives. So since we are in the nth derivative, a will take a power of n, right? And remember, this will not change. It will remain e to the ax, e to the ax. So this is the connection. We are done with the first one. So if your teacher asks you to find the 100 derivative of this, all you have to do is to replace n with 100. Let me give you an instance. If you have y equal to e to the ax, for example, let me even change it to a number. For example, if you have 2 here, 2x, and your teacher is expecting you to find the 100th derivative, all you have to do is to use this formula. A, remember, is what? Is 2 here. It's correspond to 2, right? So you write your 2 here. To which power? To the power of n, and n is 100. So this is 100. Then e to what? 2x. And this is the solution. You don't have to take the first, second, third after the 100 derivative in order to find the 100 derivative of this function. That's exactly the connection. And whatever 2 to 100 power is, but it's huge, you can just leave it like this. Let's go to the second question. We have y equal to x to the power of m, and this m is, let's assume it is an integer like x to the power of 2. You know, if you differentiate it, it's going to be 2x, something like that. So let us establish a formula here. So let's find the derivatives and see the connection. The first derivative, remember this is power rule. You drop the power, it is going to multiply the function mx. Then you subtract 1 from the exponent, m minus 1. This is the first derivative. The second one, this power will drop down to multiply. Already we have m. It is going to multiply m minus 1. Then x to the power of m minus 2, right? Can you see that we have 1 here, we have 1 here, we have 2 here, we have 2 here. So we have already seen one connection. The third derivative, this is equal to, this will multiply down. Already we have these two factors. We have m times n minus 1 multiplied by this one, which is, oh, why am I using x? M minus 1 multiplied by m minus 2 multiplied by x to the power of m minus 2, then minus 1, which is minus 3. Minus 3. Should I stop here? But if you pay close attention, this looks like a factorial. Remember, if you have m factorial, it is equal to what? M itself multiplied by m minus 1, because you have to keep on reducing by 1, times m minus 2 multiplied by m minus 3. You keep on multiplying till you get to 1. That is the definition of factorial, right? So, how can we establish m here? If you want to establish m, can you see I can take care of all of this? Yes, I can take care of all of that. And write factorial here. This is another definition of m factorial. If you don't want to get to 1, you can stop at any moment. So m will be equal to m factorial divided by m minus 1 factorial if you make m the subject by dividing both sides by m minus 1 factorial. You have to know what a factorial is before you could understand what I'm trying to establish here. So in place of this m, we can write this. So what about the entire this? The entire this, let me show you something. M factorial is equal to m multiplied by m minus 1 multiplied by m minus 2 factorial. So you can see m minus 1 here, right? So m times m minus 1 as the subject will be equal to m factorial divided by m minus 2 factorial. So in place of this, we can write this. So you see that here we divided by what? M minus 1. That is in the first derivative. Here we divided by what? M minus 2. That is in the second derivative. In the third derivative, we have to divide by m minus 3 factorial, which means that in the nth derivative, we have to divide by what? M minus n factorial. Did you understand? So if you keep on differentiating that function up to the nth derivative, it's going to be m factorial, right? Divide by m minus 2, minus n, sorry, factorial. So we are done with the coefficient. Then what about this one? You see, we have in the first derivative m minus 1. In the second derivative, we have m minus 2. In the third derivative, we have m minus 3. These numbers here always correspond to the derivative we have at that level. So since we are at nth derivative, so this is going to be x to the power of what? M minus n. And hence, this is the connection. If you are given a question to find the 100th derivative, all you have to do is to replace n with 100. So let me give you an instance to see whether it works. For example, if we have y equal to x raised to the power of 7. Let me reduce the power, maybe 6. And you're asked to find the fourth derivative. Fourth derivative. Remember the connection. Wherever you have n, it is going to be equivalent to 4, right? And remember what we have here as our exponent is m. So I'm going to replace that m with 6, right? So in here, we have this to be equal to m factorial, which is equivalent to 6 factorial, right? 6 factorial divided by m, which is still 6, minus n, which is 4, right? Then x raised to the power of what? M minus n, that is 6 minus 4. 6 factorial implies 6 multiplied by 4 multiplied by, oh no, sorry, it should be 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is 6 factorial. And 6 minus 4 here is 2. Then we still have x raised to the power of 6 minus 4, which is 2. So you can see that this 2 times 1 is 2 divided by this. So this is 30. This is 12. So we have 12 times 30. 3 times 12 is 36. So 360. So this is 360x squared. This is the fourth derivative. And if you like, you can check it. Differentiate this one after the other till you get to the fourth derivative. Since this is my last question, let us try that. We have y to be equal to x raised to the power of 6. The first derivative is equal to 6x to the 5th power, because you have to reduce this by 1. The second derivative is going to be 5 multiplied by 6 is 30, x to the power of 4. The third derivative is going to be 3 times 4 is 12, 120, x to which power? Power of 3, right? Then the fourth derivative, which we have here, this 3 will multiply 120, you have 360. Then you reduce the power by 1, you have 2. Is it not exactly as what we have here? So the importance of this nth derivative is to be able to jump directly to that derivative you are looking for without necessarily going through the first, second, third after that derivative. So this is that. In our next tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can drive a formula that can help you to find any derivative of this. Yes, thank you for watching. Do share to your colleagues. Bye-bye.